Hello. Hi. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna reply to the horrible, horrible things that people are saying about me on Reddit. When you're talking about conspiracy theories, you have to keep in mind how unequal people are. Some people insist that the world is flat. Some people insist that the theory of evolution can't possibly be true. We're not all equal. Maybe you want to believe that with enough hard work and research we could all be equal, but the reality is that here and now, we aren't.
Hello, and in this video I would like to talk about à-bas-le-ciel. I know that you deliberately lie about these elements to get profit from right-wing politicians and neoliberal capitalist organizations. I don't have the evidence on me, however,
I lived with Eisel for 7 years, and I saw directly that the people making up conspiracy theories about him are really, genuinely at an intellectual disadvantage. It's a disadvantage just as stark as when you're looking at conspiracy theories about the Earth being flat. It's worse, in a sense, because this is a guy with a podcast about ancient Rome, videos and essays about Buddhist philosophy, and the main criticism that he's received has consisted entirely of other people's fantasies about his sex life. And it always has, for 10 years, in which he uploaded more than 2,600 videos.
Yeah, this is just a quick video just saying à-bas-le-ciel is a total scumbag. And he probably does harass people on the internet. He probably harasses people, little girls, and just a sour taste. Just a seriously sad person.
These are people who can't appreciate 2,000 videos about politics, history, and philosophy. These are not people who are sophisticated enough to have a contrasting view on any of the controversies that Eisel made videos about, either as a serious statement or as comedy. These are people who just want to feel morally superior to someone. Anyone. They want to ridicule someone for having a worse sex life than they have themselves. And in Eisel's case, it's really not true. He's been honest and open about his sex life all these years, and he did nothing wrong. What he did was produce videos that made other people feel intellectually inferior, because they are. And it made them feel morally inferior, because they are. And they want revenge. I've seen the emails, I've heard the voices of Eisel's critics over the years, and they are really mentally disabled. They often mention directly their diagnosis and disability in the course of talking to Eisel. And of course, it's obvious when they show their faces. People made up the lie that Eisel couldn't speak Chinese and that he'd never lived in China. They claimed that a video that he'd recorded of himself in China was actually recorded at a Walmart in California, and that the signs had been digitally edited to be in Chinese. There were videos of Eisel speaking Chinese. They wouldn't believe it. They loved the made-up story that he was a fraud so much that they disregarded all the evidence and built up this myth around him. The same thing happened in the Durian Rider court case. Eisel showed exactly how the money had been spent, but people just loved the opportunity to claim that he was a bad person. They love the feeling of being morally superior, and Eisel's videos, even his book review videos, make them feel morally inferior. Aaron Janis is also a useful example.
Who locked me up? Who locked me up? I'll tell you. People who were doing the best they could. That's who locked me up, okay? I was forced medicated because somebody believed that was best for me. I forgive them, but I don't want to do it again.
Aaron Janis is crazy. She's been committed to an asylum. Eisel knew how crazy she was. He tried to warn people, and he's hated for it. Aaron Janis herself hates him for it. Eisel's YouTube videos about Aaron were played in hearings to decide whether or not she was sane enough to be released from an asylum. They included evidence of just how serious the extent of her insanity is. I've been in the room when Eisel had a private Skype conversation with Aaron. She tried to bully Eisel by making up lies about his sex life, and she also suggested that she and Eisel had some kind of romantic history together, when that wasn't true at all. This is common. People who feel powerless, people who feel stupid, people who feel immoral. They try to go after Eisel for his sexuality. I've seen Aaron Janis do it. I've seen members of my own family do it. They can't debate or dispute anything, philosophically or politically, so they just make up lies about his sex life. They make up stories that he's secretly some kind of terrible person, and none of it is true. And I know. I was in the room with him every day for all these years. I'm the one person who knows what's true. And no matter how many times I say what is true and what is false, nobody believes me, because they'd rather believe these stupid, made-up stories. Can you imagine how frustrating it is for me, as a 32-year-old woman, to have everyone dismiss what I have to say, as if I'm the victim of brainwashing, as if I'm the victim of mind control. They completely ignore what I say. They completely ignore all the evidence, and they just sit there with their made-up stories. They won't listen to Eisel, and they also won't listen to me. And there is nobody else you can trust. Only 2 people know the truth, and I am one of them. But nobody cares. If I speak very spontaneously and passionately, they say it's fake. If I break down weeping on camera, they say it's fake. If I make a carefully scripted video, they'll say that it's fake too. I've seen this go on for years, even when Eisel shows screenshots, even when Eisel shows evidence of what really happened and why, even when the truth makes sense, even when Eisel and I both tell the truth consistently. People would rather believe a made-up lie that makes no sense at all. It's crazy, it's incoherent, it's self-contradictory, but that is what they want to believe. It really is like flat earth theory. The evidence doesn't change anything. My honesty can't help. A lot of mentally disabled people are on psychiatric medications, and a lot of those people hate Eisel because he's made videos discussing the scientific evidence that those psychiatric medications don't work. This kind of hatred can be really petty, but really intense. Eisel makes people feel bad about their excuses for eating meat, taking antidepressants, and smoking marijuana. They can't make Eisel feel bad about himself by criticizing his work on the politics of Buddhism, or the American Constitution, or ancient Greece, or ancient Rome. So they just make something up. And it's usually about sex because they don't have very much imagination. Look at what happened with Unnatural Vegan. She couldn't deal with any of Eisel's arguments about the philosophy of Peter Singer, about pet ownership, about antidepressants, so she just made things up. Plant-Based News did the same thing. Durian Rider did the same thing. And those 3 sources alone reached hundreds of thousands of viewers. I've been standing next to him, seeing this pattern again and again, even with things as simple as whether or not he was in China learning Chinese. One side is based on telling the truth. One side is based on telling a lie. Eisel is telling the truth. I am telling the truth. These people just make up a lie that I'm the victim of abuse, when I'm here telling them I'm not the victim of abuse. These people deny the reality of what I spent so many hours saying. They are fantasists. They can't accept reality. This inequality will never end. It never gets better. This is how the internet has changed. My own father would never make a political statement on the internet because he's afraid. People are afraid to say anything on the internet now. People just live in fear of this mass of mentally disabled people on Reddit and YouTube. A minority of mentally disabled people have made it impossible for intelligent, well-intentioned people to have discussions about politics, history, anything of intellectual substance. I've been on the internet for 20 years. I've seen how it's changed, and I've seen how it's changed people. What happened to Eisel could happen to you. what Durian Rider did to Eisel could happen to you. People are afraid to lose 10 years of hard work. It could all be taken away from you just because somebody made up stupid rumors about you on the internet. Being a public intellectual in the face of this kind of hatred is impossible today. The people who have a lot of time to spend on Reddit, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch, they are disproportionately disabled. There used to be a time when people who had families, people who had jobs, people who had active lives, they were online and posting videos to YouTube. That time is over. Now, the people who post on YouTube, TikTok, Reddit, Twitter, they're not in school, they're not employed. A lot of these people are getting disability benefits, and a lot of these people are taking psychiatric medications. I've seen these people. I've been with Eisel and read the emails as they've come in. I've listened to the voice messages as they've come in. I've heard him talking with them on Skype. I've seen for myself just how mentally disabled these people are. You cannot read these statements on Reddit or YouTube with the assumption that these are normal, well-intentioned people. What do you think is the source of these people's information? Only 2 people were in the room. You heard Eisel's perspective, now you're hearing mine. Anyone who was not in the room is making up a story, and it's not going to stop. It doesn't matter how many videos I make saying what the truth is. It doesn't matter. Even with things as simple as Eisel was studying Chinese. It doesn't matter. There will always be mentally disabled, mentally ill people on the internet making up rumors about your sex life. And that's why nobody wants to be on the internet in 2025. We've lost the optimism of 2015. Nobody wants to be a public figure anymore because they know the price that they'll have to pay. They know what comes with it.